or I'm sorry, he left the sample in his car. But we didn't find out about this until the clinic called the next day and he said, hey, we haven't gotten our results yet. And then our normal steps is, okay, well, have the courier check his vehicle, maybe he dropped the sample or something. Well, sure enough, the courier did drop the sample in the car. By the time my boss made the phone call to let the clinic know that he dropped the sample, the animal had died.
Oh.
And the reason it was a big deal is because my boss asked the doctor, well, ma'am, would it have made any difference had we gotten your results? She said, well, honestly, I don't know, but we would have probably knew how to treat that dog if we'd known what was wrong with him. So that's my horror courier story, but the main reason why I really brought that story up, most of the service failures I have are either the courier dropped it on the ground or he left it in the vehicle. We have, and I don't know if he sent it to you, but I gave Brian what we have is called a vehicle audit inspection check.
That
Did they get it? Is in there? Okay, I didn't know if it was in there.
Oh, yes. That's in the folder.
You may look at that and like, how can somebody drop a sample in the car? You know, that's usually the first reaction when people first look at that sheet. It happens a lot, a lot. If you pick up 200 bags of samples, and this is what some couriers will do, they'll pick them up, you know, log them on their route sheet. As soon as they get them, they throw them in the cooler like that. I'm serious, I've seen it. I had to straighten that out right away when I see it. But we would prefer, and I hate to use a UPS term, but we would prefer hand to surface. You know, it doesn't release your hand until it hits the next surface. Because some of these tubes are glass. And if you throw a bunch of glass tubes in there, well, when you take it out, you're gonna see a lot of blood. So just kind of keep that in mind. But that vehicle audit is, you do that right after you've completed everything, turned in your sample, then you go outside and you check that vehicle. There's spots on the audit sheet where you actually check those particular areas, because that's where they fall. When we had IDEXX couriers, it was easy for us because we used to throw the test samples in the car, you know, and so when they go out there, hey, did you check your vehicle? Well, what's this? You know.
Left-hand side in your folder is IDEXX, right-hand side is Scriptfleet if you want to look in and you want to pull out your audit form that he's
But
talking
that audit, trust me, we put that audit together 4 years ago because it kept taking place. I just never could understand how a person can keep losing a sample in the vehicle, but it happens several times. But yes.
And that's one thing that I'll be teaching you guys is organization. You will need to set your vehicle up before you start your route every day to be organized and keep everything streamlined. It'll make it easier for you, it'll make your day go a lot quicker, and there'll be less errors that's going to occur. That's going to take up more of your time. And also don't think that this is, oh my gosh, this, you know, everything's so time sensitive and this is going to take so much more time. It's really not. Once you have your rhythm routine down, you're going to see it's all going to go pretty quickly, and you will be able to get your route done on time. Also, when he's telling you there's a deadline for the lab, that's because they tell the customer you can have the results at a certain time, same day results. And then also at night when we're flying all the specimens out in the evening time and on Saturdays, then those customers have a specific time that they expect to get the results. So that's why we can't miss our flights either. So everything does come hand in hand, and there is a reason why we're on a time schedule. It's because those doctors need those results to treat those animals to hopefully maybe prevent them from passing away.
Yeah, I know they're going to talk about the snow card in a little bit. I just want to touch on one thing about it, though.
Don't put it on the glass.
Don't put it on the glass. I got a call 2 days ago. Was it Monday? Might have been Friday, I'm sorry. Clinic, doctor left me the meanest voicemail you could leave a person. I'm thinking we missed a sample, or, you know, he's like, I'm highly upset. Yeah, I've been dealing with IDEXX. I mean, he's just yelling, and I didn't call him back. He was so mean. But make a long story short, he's outside trying to clean his window, and the adhesive from all the snow cards basically peeled the paint off of the lettering on his clinic. Very, very upset. Obviously, you know, we want you to leave this somewhere, you know, at the clinic, and they're going to cover this. But if the box is out, just leave it on the box. It's our box anyway, so they can't get mad about that. You know, I've even had couriers, you know, if it can fit safely, you know, fold it and put it between the key, you know, where they would open the door, right there by the lock. I've had them do that. If you feel it's safe and it won't blow away, that's fine. But we want to leave this because this is the only thing you have to say you were there. And I'll tell you honestly, you could have been there and left this on the clinic. I get a call the next day, driver didn't show up. So, well, man, did he leave a snow card there? No, we didn't get one. You know, I said, well, the driver has his copy attached to the route sheet. You sure you didn't get one? No, we didn't get one. I can, after dealing with the amount of service phase I've dealt with, I can kind of sense when a clinic is being honest with me and when they're not. And I've gotten a good feel for that. I mean, obviously, it's never 100%, but, you know, I had a perfect example, a clinic called Hobart. They give us about 40 bags a day. Never negative. They always got samples every day. Courier goes there, they got 2 lock boxes, side by side, ground. Looks in both, no samples. That's a red flag, because this clinic always has at least 30 to 40 bags a day. He leaves a snow card, but something told the courier, you know what, I better call somebody about this. So he called his dispatch, who in turn called me at night. I don't care about getting a call at night about that. And so I go, wait a minute, that's impossible. They always have something. So I called the clinic, left them a message, and told them I would follow up the next morning. I called them the next morning. I said, yeah, ma'am, I know when it left a message last night. We didn't get any samples, and we were concerned. Oh, the courier forgot them. He didn't pick them up. I'm like, oh, no, ma'am. So I got pictures of the inside of the lock boxes. We were covered, basically. But they were trying to save somebody's job at the clinic. It happens. I said, well, she goes, oh, well, you know, somebody's, I said, well, it's not going to be the courier that's getting fired, man.
Yeah.
You know, the courier he went, like, those kind of instances, you want to go a little bit above and beyond the call.
Pictures, videos.
It makes it so much easier on me, because I'm the one getting yelled at the next morning. So, just keep that in mind. And, but one of the things I did learn about the clients, they don't get as mad about the missed pickups as they do about their supplies, because they can't submit anything to us without these supplies. So they get madder about those. Reason why they don't get as mad about the missed pickups is because we're gonna run it for free for them. If they gotta bring the pet back in, we're gonna run it for free. No charge to them. They're fine with that, but they better get their supplies. So just gotta give you a heads up. But they still, you know, but that situation where the pet died, we don't know what's wrong. Every sample that you pick up, you don't know what the issue is with that pet. That pet could be on his last leg. I mean, he could be ready to go anytime, but they need to know what's wrong so they can treat the pet properly. So I always keep that in the back of your mind that, you know, this is about pet health, and my part of this is to make sure I get those samples to the lab. And don't drop any, don't leave any in the car, you know, those type of things. So, but I just wanted to touch on that about the glass. I was pretty sure you all were gonna cover it, but I just had a situation where I got a mean voicemail.
Yeah, there's plenty of places, like you were saying, you can stick it up there by the key, you know, on the door handle.
Yeah, if any
inside
part
the
of the metal
box.
is fine, yeah.
You know, a lot of drivers don't like to have a bunch of snow cars stuck to the box,
Mhm.
but they'll put them inside there. You know, when I was doing the startup in New Orleans, and I was out with the driver, and we opened up the box, and I mean, it was like this, with snow cards, that they were just not pulling out. But we went ahead, we left the snow card, made sure that that carbon copy will be stapled to your route sheet, okay? And I'll go over that with you a little bit later.
And, you know, another situation I had in Elmhurst, I believe the driver went there. Me personally, I believe he went there. I believe they forgot to put him out. The only problem is the courier didn't have his copy of the snow card. And the clinic said they didn't get one. So it actually put it back on the driver because he didn't follow SOP, he didn't follow standard operating procedure operations. So basically, it came down to, well, the courier missed it because he didn't do his part. So if you follow those procedures and you leave that snow card, you attach to your route sheet, and this clinic said you didn't pick up their samples and they didn't get a snow card, well, man, he did everything he was supposed to do. You know, he did everything by the book. I have to say he didn't miss your samples. He left a snow card. So just kind of keep
You're
those
pretty much
things in
safe
mind.
as long as you cover
Exactly.
yourself and follow the SOP to a T, then you're good, you're golden.
And like I said, we have thousands of these snow cards, so I'll make sure you all keep plenty, but pet couriers that get to the clinic realize, oh, I don't have any snow cards. You know, we didn't have any issues the one time it happened this year. thank God. But I got a call that night that, yeah, you know, he's all the way out and such. He obviously couldn't come back to get him. Otherwise, he would have never finished the route on time. But at least I did know about it. Didn't get any phone calls, we were safe, but that could have been a disaster that night. What he did though do was write a note on every clinic that didn't have any samples, letting them know, hey, you know, didn't have any snow cards, here's my little note. You know, not the same, but at least he did let us know. On Thursday of last week, jumping back, I hate to keep jumping back and forth, but I forgot to tell you all this story. I had the lab called me up in Minnesota. They said, hey, you know, this courier just brought a sample from last night in here. Which, I thought the courier did a good thing. He found the sample in his car. He took it straight to the lab. He tried to slip it by me though, but, you know, but still, his thought was, hey, let me get this sample to the lab. I'll worry about the consequences later. Things happen. Mistakes happen. We're human. We're all human. Things are gonna happen. But as long as you caught that mistake and you got it to the lab, that's really, that to me was a good part of his job. However, the sample should have been sent to the lab the previous night. So of course, the clinic didn't get their results on time, but they got the results. There was nothing wrong with the sample was still good, so we were good with that one. But if you do run into a situation where sometimes a clinic may not seal these bags up all the way. See, they're just regular Ziploc bags, and they may say seal it halfway. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're getting in your car, you know, and you're putting your stuff in. That's how they happen. Seen that happen many times too. They didn't have the bag sealed all the way, fell out, you know, and the driver probably checked his vehicle that night, but this can roll in a lot of places in the car. And I mean, unless you're like down on your knees and digging, you probably won't find this right away. And then if a couple of days pass, the blood's no good, they're gonna have to bring in the pet for a redraw, so. But it does happen. My best advice is try to keep your bags always upright, even when you're rubber banding them. And then, you know, make sure that, you know, I don't expect you to check like 50, 60 bags, but if you keep your bags upright, and when you put them in your cooler that way, if it falls out, it'll probably fall in the cooler, and you'll catch it. You know, because that's not your fault that they're not sealing the bags. And if we can call the clinic and say, hey, can you help us out and seal the bags? Because one of your tubes fell out yesterday and the driver's concerned. If you all see that type of stuff, that's the information I need. I'll call the clinic right away. And I'll try to make sure that they understand that it's important that they seal these bags properly. One thing I didn't show you all too, I'm glad I pulled this up. These are what we call slide holders. You'll get a bag of these also, with a rec form in it obviously, but I wanted to show you these because they actually put slides inside of these. They slide them in, you know, and then these go to our pathologists at the lab and they do whatever test they need to do. So you'll run into these as well after the round. Probably only 2 or 3 of you will probably ever see this in your route. And if you got DePore, Wilson, Brighton Animal Hospital, those are the only ones I know of that actually send us these.
I wanted to ask a question about that. Would you ever run across picking that up without the styrofoam casing, or?
Yes. A lot of you all see it just like this in there. It's okay, it's just that this is an extra thing that we add to it. This doesn't really do any good. This is the key part. So if you see something like this in that lockbox, bring it. Because there's 2 tubes usually inside this thing, like I showed you earlier. You put a tube in here and a tube in here. And one day, you know, 'cause we have to send these back to the clinic. We have to send them the next day back to the clinics. One day I was about to send one back to the clinic. I said, well, let me check this thing just to be safe. Sure enough, there was a tube in there. The lab didn't take everything out. So I caught it, they were able to run it still, but I don't expect you all to open these at all. Don't even, just grab it and go. And this would be counted as 1 bag on your sample counts, or 1 sample count.
Marlon, do you want to go over the flight boxing procedures?
Sure, oh, thank you.
Niles should have one of the,
Yeah, I'm not sure how you all are gonna operate it, but I got a feeling you're gonna be getting a little help soon with this. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it. We normally, from this market alone, we get about 4 of these boxes from Detroit a night. During our peak season, we can get up to 6. Normally, the most I've seen so far is about 1,100 bags of samples, just in this market.
What constitutes a peak season?
Our peak season runs from the end of February all the way through June is our heaviest time of the year. Reason being is that's heartworm season, and most of the clients bring their pets to the clinics at that time of year because we want them to be heartworm tested. And during that time, you'll see a lot of bags like this with these purple lavender top tubes. This is for our heartworm tests. So that's why it's much heavier at that time of the year than any other time. And that's why it's good that we're starting this now as opposed to at that time, because we get a lot of volume in this area. About 1,100 bags a night during peak season. Right now, we're around 800-900. So just to give you an idea of the type of volume that we're looking at. But anyway, again,
it has all the ice packs in it.
oh, they're all in there? Okay, I got to go ahead. Now this, we only need to put probably about 3, maybe 4 ice packs at the most in these particular boxes when you got all your samples loaded up in here. That's about all you need, because we don't want the samples again. We don't want them frozen or real cold. We just want them, sorry, it's real heavy, I picked it up. We just want them to where they're just not hot. So just want to keep that in mind. I'm gonna be sending you all what we call some bio bags. They're bags that are bigger than this plastic, but sorry about the drip.
No, it's okay.
They're bags that are bigger than this bag here, and they have a bio label on them. What we have, the courier does that gets everything together for us, he puts all the samples from each route in these bio bags. And then once he puts them in the bio bag, he puts them in here with the ice packs. He gets as many as he can in here, and then he closes the box up and then gets another yellow box and fills that up. Sometimes he can get it all in 4, sometimes he may need 5, he may need 6 on a real heavy day like a Monday. A Monday, by the way, is the heaviest day of the week, normally because you got the weekend, and some clinics that are open on Sunday, they'll submit those samples on Monday. But yes,
Sorry, what is that called?
flight box.
That's a plate box.
Well, that's what we call it anyway. I'm pretty sure there's some technical name for
And
it.
then you'll be sending us the bio bags.
Yes, this is what's gonna wind up happening. All flight boxes that you get, so
Okay.
you don't have to worry about going to get bags. We'll put the bags in here. If you send us ice packs in here already, we'll send those same ice packs back to you.
Okay.
So this way, you got that. And the courier that would make the pickup on Saturday, they can actually grab extra bio bags from the lab if they feel they need them.
Okay, so we need to just take note that on Saturday, the driver needs to be bringing back as many flight boxes and bringing back bio bags.
Exactly.
On the way back.
Exactly. And I believe Brian mentioned something about we're gonna use a van or something like that.
On a Saturday?
I thought he mentioned a van to me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they will have the proper size vehicle to bring back.
Okay.
Which they need to bring
Okay.
back. That won't be an issue.
Well, they should be able
We'll
to,
make
there
sure.
should be about 5 or 6 available for me to take back, because we want to make sure that they're set for Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
So you don't
the
have-
driver on Saturday will need to bring back 5 to 6 flight boxes.
And then we will send you all some Monday that you'll get Wednesday, because they go
Right,
2 days
right,
here
perfect.
on those.
And then, just want to make sure on the DOLs and everything that this here, we're going to actually have, the driver will be putting the dates,
Mhm.
and then the driver will sign,
Yes.
and then this goes into here, and then it
Yes.
goes on the flat box. And then what we're going to do is have the pilot sign off down here.
Mhm.
So we're going to have the driver do the same thing, the date,
Yes.
the number of pieces, have the driver sign, we're going to have the pilot sign, and then that way we have a record of it for us.
Correct.
But on
That's
here, the
fine.
only thing that's required on here is date, pieces,
Yes.
and the signature of the driver.
Exactly.
And put that
And I was
here
letting
and that on
Brian,
there.
right, and when I gave Brian those, that's a brand new form. We didn't have that before.
Okay.
Actually, the first time I seen it is when I gave it to Brian. So I
Okay.
told him, I said, it looks pretty self-explanatory, but they don't really, they put it this way, before they came out with they were writing it on a piece of paper and
Okay.
handing it to us, so.
And
So
as
it's
soon
not
as
that
we're getting low,
serious.
then we'll just, Don can email you and let you know. the
Exactly,
80%.
exactly.
Because I know they're all coded.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, as far as the drop off, again, getting back to that, and you know, you all will know exactly where you're gonna go. I apologize, I was unable to go there today, but it's not really hard from what I was told. I just need to get a few more details so you all are up to speed that day. That'll probably be the easiest part of it. One good thing too is these Midnight Express, you know, they chartered this flight for us. There's some flexibility there. I mean, obviously we'll let them know, hey, you know, we're starting some new couriers. Might be running a little behind the first week. You know, they don't just leave us, put it that way. They don't just say, well, you know, flight's gone, see ya, you know. They work with us, but you know, we have situations where they had to wait last year because of weather. Obviously, routes are gonna run a little bit behind during bad weather. That's every operation that's doing any outdoor type operation. We understand that stuff, you know, but Midnight Express has been really cooperative. And in some cases, you may find that you'll get the stuff there on time and the aircraft's not even there yet. You know, it may be delayed due to weather from Ohio or wherever it's coming from. So again, there's always some type of little issue there in regards to this flight. But for the most part, they work well with us and they will wait. We just have to kind of let them know, like, hey, you know, give them a heads up at least anyway. And we'll make sure you have all of that information, phone numbers and all of that, so don't worry too much about that. That's the easy part. The hard part is making sure you all pick up those samples and don't drop any in the car and don't drop any in the snow. Because it's kind of embarrassing when a person at the clinic comes in and they like, what's that? It's bad. And then I got to deal with the backlash of it usually. And don't worry, I'm thick-skinned. But at a certain point, it'd be nice to have a couple of smooth days where I'm not dealing with samples in the car. And so I'm counting on you all to make this transition go smooth. Will there be some hiccups? Probably so. But you know what? It won't be because of lack of effort. And that's the main thing. Obviously, we want zero mistakes. But as long as the effort is there and we see that you care and you're trying and you're doing your best out there, we should be fine.
Where is IDEXX located?
Actually, we have a lab in Bloomfield Hills here, and then we also have a lab in Elmhurst, and then we're located all over the world, believe it or not. My boss right now is in Amsterdam. Yeah, I know, that's what I said, oh wow.
you guys-
He's actually starting routes in Amsterdam. He's helping them with some routes in Amsterdam. So,
IDEXX is huge. They're huge. They're international.
if you notice, you probably don't hear much about it. You don't see any billboards or, you know, commercials or newsletters. You don't see anything about IDEXX, do you? Because I said that when I got there, like, you know, what is this place? But they're kind of a hidden treasure. The veterinarians know us. That's all we care about. The veterinarians
It's a big
definitely
business.
know us. It's a big
It's a
business.
very big business.
I mean, they spent, what was it, 26 billion or something on animals last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we want our piece of that. So.
We have to stop and think about too is that a lot of couples that can't have children, their
Mhm.
pets are their children.
That's right.
You know, so that's why I stress to everybody, you know, that this is just like dealing with human pathology. You know, animals are humans to us too. And we want to make sure that we don't jeopardize their lives, same way we wouldn't want our lives jeopardized. How would we feel if we got called back in to have to get more blood work done? Or say that there's a possibility that we may have cancer and they've taken this biopsy and the driver didn't pick it up. And now they can't get the biopsy. The same thing is for animals. It works the same way on animals as it does humans. So just keep that in mind is that these animals, a lot of animals throughout the world, that is people's children, you know, and that's all they have. So we want to just be really, really careful and conscientious.
You know, she just mentioned something that hit her kind of close to home. My former boss was now my peer because I took his spot. But he was really sick about a year ago. And sure enough, he went in, got his blood drawn, and the courier didn't pick up his blood. Honestly, this is a true story. And now he's in this same type of business. He's like, what do you mean a courier didn't pick up my blood? So this is a human being, and his blood didn't get picked up. So, you know, it's. I mean, he wasn't like ready to die or anything, but still, they didn't know what was wrong with him. And come to find out, he did have a form of cancer. They had to make him come in and redraw, which is painful. Because some people, you know, their veins don't allow them to get blood, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a little touchy, I know, but my point is, you know, it's very
Sometimes
important.
very
You all have a very important job out there, very important. You know, and you know, it might be some days where you're not feeling it the best, and you know, it may not seem like the greatest job at the time, but remember, you're holding some life. You could be holding someone's life in your hand when you pick up that sample from the lockbox. Whether it's, you know, of course it's an animal, but still, you know, just think of it that way.
It's the
Think-
same. Yeah, it's the same
Exactly,
thing.
exactly. Some people, like you said, they treasure their pets. Their animals are everything to them, and when that animal expires, and then they find that it expired because the courier didn't pick up the sample, you don't want to be on the other end of that phone.
Yeah.
I've had some of those, and they're not very pleasant. And there's not a lot I could say, but every mistake you all make, I'm gonna get the back end of it, so if you don't like me, then you're gonna make mistakes. No, I wanna kid you.
No, he will get the report, and then he's gonna talk to Dawn, and then Dawn's gonna call you guys.
It all rolls up
It all rolls
and
up
down,
and down.
but again, I'm thick-skinned, that, you know, as long as I know the courier did everything he could possibly do, we should be good. You know, because things are gonna happen. People are gonna forget to put the samples in. They're gonna blame the courier. Hey, the courier didn't pick me up. I protected a lot of couriers just by investigating things. You all got an advantage here with Fleet Logistics because they're gonna have barcodes in the lock boxes. Now when the clinic say, hey, the courier never showed up, well, ma'am, he opened your box at this time. He had to check and see if there was any samples. That's gonna help me a lot in my debates with the client.
Yeah.
Because they don't tell the truth all the time. They don't. But a lot of times they do. And a lot of times we find out that the courier's got it in the car, or, you know, or he dropped it outside, or, you know, whatever the case is.